5 cursed treasures you could still discover. Knights Templar treasure. The Knights Templar treasure is believed to be buried on Oak Island in Nova Scotia. Legend says that the Knights travelled from Scotland to Nova Scotia, and those that survived buried their treasure on the island. It was forgotten about until a settler on the island said he'd noticed a large depression in the earth during a survey in 1799. Believed to be the site of the lost treasure, people started digging, with several losing their lives. In more recent years, they discovered a pit that's been aptly named the Money Pit, featuring a number of shafts, which is thought to be where a treasure of enormous fortune will be found. So far, a total of 6 men have passed away in their hunt for the treasure. The tomb of Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan is one of the most formidable and notorious figures in the entire history of the human race. After creating one of the largest empires to ever have existed and becoming the most powerful man on earth in the late 12th and 13th centuries, it makes sense that he'd have a pretty sizable treasure to leave behind. After being buried at a secret location by his army as Poe's request, no one has been able to find the gravesite. The Mongolian government has even established an area where it's forbidden to search and for the tomb to dissuade people from trying. It's thought that if Khan's tomb is discovered, it may cause the outbreak of World War III. This fear began after the discovery of another tomb in 1941, that belonged to a descendant of Khan named Timur. It was discovered by a group of Soviet archaeologists, and soon after the USSR was invaded by Adolf's troops, where millions passed away. The following year Stalin had Timur's remains returned, and shortly after that Germans surrendered at Stalingrad, leaving many to believe the Soviets were cursed as a result of their desecration. The Lost Dutchman Mine. Located in southwestern United States, the Lost Dutchman gold mine is one of the most famous lost mines in American history. It's expected to be full of gold. This specific one, though, is thought to be in the Superstition Mountains east of Phoenix, Arizona. These mountains were home to the Apache tribe, and in the 1840s, the Peraltas, a wealthy Mexican family, started mining during their final journey carrying gold back to Mexico. They were ambushed by the Apaches, executing almost all the Peraltas. 30 years later, in the 1870s, Jacob Waltz, aka the Dutchman, believed to have located the mine after speaking to one of the few Peralta descendants. He and his friend Jacob Weisner explored the mine, hiding several gold catchers inside. Weisner was executed, some believed by the Apaches and other believed at the hand of Waltz himself. Waltz passed in 1891, and many of those who have attempted to find the mine since have either passed away or gone missing on their explorations. The Jewels of King John of England. In October 1216, King John of England was heading from Kingsland in the east of England towards the north to stop the Scottish King Alexander II's invasion of England. This journey, however, involves having to cross the Wash stretch of estuary land between Norfolk and Lincolnshire, which was essentially a bag full of quicksand and whirlpools, not ideal for heavy carriages carrying the king and the crown jewels. Such concerns were flagged by its kingsman but fell on deaf ears of the aptly named Bad King John, and they pushed through the mudscapes. No one is completely sure what happened in the Wash, but the key thing was that those carriages came out on the other side a lot lighter and without a lot of horses and men. Lost Inca gold. In 1532, Spaniard Francisco Pizarro began his conquest of the Inca Empire, capturing the Inca king Atahualpa and imprisoning him in the Cajamarca in the same year. Realizing that his Spanish captors were particularly invested in gold, Atahualpa promised he would give them a room filled with gold and another in silver if they agreed to give him his freedom. Despite Pizarro's agreement to these terms, he grew impatient and paranoid of a potential attack plot during the wait of the gold delivery, and Pizarro had Atahualpa executed. Now legend has it that Atahualpa's general Ruminawi was en route to Caxmaca with the approximate 750 tons of the ransom gold. The story of what happened to Ruminawi and the gold differs between accounts from here. Some say it was dumped in a lake, some believe he returned it back home. What we do know though is that Ruminawi took the secret of the location to his grave. It's been supposedly found a few times, however all the people that have gone searching in the mountains for this treasure have mysteriously disappeared before reaching the bottom of the mountain, leading many to believe that the Inca gold harbors a lethal curse.